Never gonna stop your swaps. Never gonna slip your trades. Never gonna close down on the weekends. Never gonna stop your swaps. Never gonna slip your trades. Never gonna close down on the weekends. Let's fucking jump. Zero slippage is all I need, girl. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Your juicy liquidity is all I want. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Zero slippage is all I need, girl. Let's fucking jump. Juicy liquidity is all I want. Let's fucking jump. Show me your amazing biz. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Let's fucking jump. Let's fucking jump. Let's fucking jump. Never gonna stop your swaps. Never gonna slip your trades. Never gonna close down on the weekends. Never gonna stop your swaps. Never gonna slip your trades. Never gonna close down on the weekends. Let's fucking jump. Zero slippage is all I need, girl. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Your juicy liquidity is all I want. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Zero slippage is all I need, girl. Let's fucking jump. Juicy liquidity is all I want. Let's fucking jump. Show me your amazing biz. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Let's fucking jump. Let's fucking jump. Let's fucking jump. Never gonna stop your swaps. Never gonna slip your trades. Never gonna close down on the weekends. Never gonna stop your swaps. Never gonna slip your trades. Never gonna close down on the weekends. Let's fucking jump. Zero slippage is all I need, girl. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Your juicy liquidity is all I want. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Zero slippage is all I need, girl. Let's fucking jump. Juicy liquidity is all I want. Let's fucking jump. Show me your amazing biz. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Let's fucking jump. Let's fucking jump. Let's fucking jump. Never gonna stop your swaps. Never gonna slip your trades. Never gonna close down on the weekends. Never gonna stop your swaps. Never gonna slip your trades. Never gonna close down on the weekends. Let's fucking jump. Zero slippage is all I need, girl. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Your juicy liquidity is all I want. Ooh, let's fucking jump. Zero slippage is all I need, girl. Let's fucking jump. Juicy liquidity is all I want. Let's fucking jump. Show me your amazing biz.
GM.
GM.
What's happening? Welcome back to another episode of Trenches with Joe. How's it going, everybody?
Spam still on the bed.
Yeah, no, still yet to go back to my desk setup.
Has not upgraded. He's trenching from the comfort of the pillow.
Yeah, I need the trenches calls to hit so I can get out of the bed. Just some real accommodations.
Yeah, true. If we hit a nice call today, we can get you a flight back to your real home.
Ugh.
Well, it's been an interesting market. We had a pump kind of out of nowhere last night, or at least last night for me. We had been sitting in the like 84 range for like forever, I feel like, and then within like one candle we're at 87, 88. So we'll have to see what this actually turns into. I'll let Fish give us his analysis because he's got the big brains here. So
Yo, what's up, guys? All right, let's jump into it. So last week I was short, but I advocated not getting to short just because, we got stuck in this range. It didn't want to break down below 83K, didn't want to break above 86K. I felt like it could trap both sides, so it was hard to tell which side it broke. But literally, when the clock ticked past midnight on today, actually UTC time, we saw this massive pump, right? Just like nonstop. It didn't even dip, just went all the way up to 87K, and then now the furthest it's reached up to is 88K. So you can see here, like we're now at these highs, and this volume profile that you see on the right hand side, I drew it from this area here where we first dipped down from 95K. That was last week of February. So this week was like, massive destruction. Everyone got liquidated. And yeah, we're just now at the top of the range. So at the value area high. And honestly, there's like no areas there's one area of resistance right here. But after that, if we break past this area of 88, 89K, then I can easily see us just going all the way up to 92.5. And I've marked this 92.5, 93K area out as like key areas that I'd be looking to short. Right now, honestly, I think this move surprised everyone just because stocks are like doing like shit right now. If you look at NASDAQ, it's down for the day. I think the SPY is also down. You know, not even gold is that much. Well, gold is up a little bit, but Bitcoin just surprised everyone today. And there's a lot of talk about right now about how we're like finally seeing the inflation hedge, digital gold, etc., etc. I still don't buy it. I think that this pump was largely due to probably people just being super bearish and shorting. And I'll get into that in a second. And basically, the market makers just wrecking everyone by squeezing all those shorts. So why do we move up? We'll come to this chart here. Let me just refresh. So this is the Bybit BTC USD inverse chart, and it's a good market to look at because I feel like this is where all the apes are. And if we look at the 4-hour, we zoom back out a little bit. If you see the CVD line, which is like an indicator of how many market buys and sells there are, it's been going down constantly, even though price has been ranging, right? So it signifies that a lot of these apes on Bybit have just been shorting the market. And because of that, probably people on the other side, the whales, the market makers with the limit orders, they've been absorbing those market sells with limit buys. And that's why we got this move up. Right now, I would advocate just not being in any position. It's tempting right now to look at the market, be like, well, we're so fucking back. Market's green for the day. I'm gonna start aping. But honestly, I just don't trust this move right now. I might be tempted to short. The problem is like, we've hit this. If I just draw a line here, right? We've hit this like 88.5K region so many times, like 1, 2, 3. Usually the more times you hit resistance, the weaker it gets. There will be a lot of people who probably try to short here, and I think it's a mistake just because, this third time we're hitting this area now, and it'll probably break at one point, but at the same time, I don't want to get long just because, it could easily do a deviation like this, fake everyone out, everyone's super bullish here, and then suddenly dump back down again. We're currently at this point where like just being in no position is probably the best thing. It's hard right now to be sidelined, look at the market like this, but honestly, just from experience, I think it's still the best thing to do. If you were to get long here, where we get long, well, so the interesting thing is, I'm going to delete these lines because they've been tapped already. Like we still have these lines here. I did say 80.5, 676K, but we're so far away from that now. Honestly, I would look for a revisit down to like just below 85K. This daily NPOC level might be a good area to get long on. I'm also just thinking like the thing is like these Monday moves are so sometimes a huge fake out. And when you consider the fact that stocks are also down, like I just also am super skeptical about how long this pump will last. If we still get bad macro, bad stock market, then I can easily see this whole thing just coming down again, and that would completely wreck everyone. So yeah, I think the best thing to do right now is just like to stay out the market. If it gets down lower, then you can argue trying to get long, or getting short around 92, 93. But at this level at 88K, I just can't see any reason to, find a trade right now. I think maybe some of the altcoins will be better. I haven't looked at a lot of them. I've been away these past 2 weeks traveling, so I haven't really paid attention to much charts other than Bitcoin. But I do think that if Bitcoin kind of just ranges, does something like this, then we'll probably see some more moves in the altcoin markets.
Yeah, as of right now, the 7-day like exchange volume is still in like a downtrend as well. So like I'm also quite skeptical about the move. Like we have not seen like a huge increase in volume anywhere. So
Yeah.
it really comes down to like if the bulls were to step in, this is the place they need to do it. But as of right now, there doesn't seem to be like a huge influx of volume. So I'm still pretty skeptical overall. I don't know what the OI is looking like, but
Yeah, so about that, because I was asking about that in Discord, right? And instead of straight up volume, I actually prefer to use OI as an indicator for volume. And you read CT a lot. People always get spooked out about high OI. Oh, it's going to get retraced, blah blah blah. OI is basically an indication of how many people want to like enter the market on perps, right? And when you're near resistance, you actually want to see an increase in OI because that means that it's more likely to smash resistance. And that's what happened when we finally smashed 86K. You saw this massive increase in OI here, and that's why we were able to finally break out that range. You can see here that the OI has increased massively, and people on CT are trying to talk about it. On its own, it's actually a good thing. It means that there's like continued interest for people to get long here. The only problem is if price starts to stall, right? So right now we have 16.5 thousand Bitcoins, which is roughly at a current price like 1.5 billion OI. And people are writing about it on CT like, oh, we have such huge OI increase, it's going to retrace, blah, blah, blah. Not necessarily. If price starts to stall, then that's kind of more caution for like retraces to happen, just because a lot of these longs, now that funding is slightly positive, they will be paying funding, and if price is not moving, then they'll be inclined to close those positions, and that could cause, price to cascade downwards. Right now, I'm not seeing it. I would, I think some people might get early short here and might get wrecked. I think the best thing to do is just to stay out the market for now. If we go to the order books, you can see here that we're now sitting at resistance. Like there's a lot more stacked asks showing up. But honestly, the past week has shown just a fuck ton of trickery in the order books. If I go to a 15-minute chart, you can see here, right? This whole past week, we're ranging between 83 and 85K, right? Like we got here and people thought we're going to dump down. I think people started shorting here. Then all these stacked bids started popping up. And then, as we started bouncing, people probably started longing. And then suddenly all these stacked asks started showing up. And it was just impossible to tell which way the market was going. So right now we have, I would say the order book is now skewing more to the ask side. So it probably favors more shorts right now, but just given the history of the order book the past 7 days, I would be hesitant to short here just because, sometimes market makers and whales, they do these kind of things to bait shorts, and then basically just like suddenly you'll see a huge stack of bids come up, and then the algo bots go crazy, and then suddenly those shorts get squeezed, right? So yeah, this is why I just advocate sitting out for now until we reach a good level, which is like either we go up to 92, 93K, where the levels are more clear and the short opportunities are more clear, or we go down. I think like there might be some bounces around 84.5, 83. Whether they make a newer high from those areas, I'm not certain. Probably better for scalps. But for swing trades, I'll be looking at 80.5. And if we break that, then 76. It sounds a bit far-fetched, like, oh, aren't you scared of like the market leaving without you, et cetera, et cetera? No, I think that it's tempting to think that the bottom's in, but honestly, I think that the market is still in a chop environment, and we should just assume that it's still going to be choppy until proven otherwise, unless something drastic changes. And that's also, considering the macro stuff. There's no changes in the tariff war front. Trump says that China's calling them, but China's not calling them. Also, there's just nothing new in the crypto side of things that could spark like a frenzy, massive impulse to the upside, and suddenly like we're out of the chop environment and into a bullish phase now. So TLDR, I'm still, advising caution in this market. I think it's very tempting to look at the market all green and start jumping into longs here. I'm personally just going to stay out. I think that this kind of market can easily take out both sides. Given that we've had a strong Monday though, I think statistically speaking, we should see more upside later in the week. But yeah, it's hard to say right now. Honestly, I think I would wait for a pullback at least before trying to get into a long.
Yeah, I think with last week as well being so choppy, and like the long holiday and stuff, like I think there was less people positioned because it was kind of difficult to position at the time. And so I don't know whether that makes it more potential for, people sending it higher while people are, left behind and they might ape, or I don't know. It's just kind of hard to read. This market is just very difficult to read right now.
Yeah. I also like to look at the total chart and the USDT dominance chart. So on the total chart, we have two areas of daily resistance. That's these, turquoise lines. And right now we've already passed one. if it does this thing, so we see here that it's already crossed it and then come back in, right? And if we start to see some weakness around here, I can easily see this retracing. Just going all the way back in again. It's already come back in the range once, so I would not be surprised if we kind of fail here and then just come back down again. And if we go to the USDT dominance chart, so this is one of those inverse charts where it basically tells you how much stable coins are there in the market. If there are more, then it means that no one's buying Bitcoin and altcoins. And if there are less, it means that people are buying altcoins. So right now it's going low, and that's because the market's pumping, right? But it has hit this daily resistance level here around 5.32%. And if we wanted to draw the other ones, it'll be here as well. So go to 15-minute chart, you can see here it's like tapped it, come back up, broke through it, and then now retracing again. So this to me is like a sign of weakness, and I would not be surprised if we start retracing here. So yeah, I think right now I would just wait for a pullback. Let's come back to BTC. So we put in the weekly low at around, that's his weekly P1, so that the weekly low is at 85K. I'm curious to see how far this retraces. I think that it's very possible we might even break the weekly low and go below 85K.
If we see that, it's gonna be a pretty bad candle, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, this is a chop market, right? Usually in a chop market, you want to do the opposite of what the market's telling you to do. So if the market's green, you kind of want to short more, and if the market's red, you want to be longing more. This is where a lot of people get fucked up. It's like they're so used to bull markets where market's green, you buy the green candle, it goes up even more, right? But then they fail to adapt when the market becomes a choppy market, and they just start aping green candles, and then price just reverses on them, and then they start crying on the timeline. And actually Bitcoin and crypto in general ranges more often than not. I think last year, like, it spent 1 month just like bull market mode, and that was the time around the election. And for the remaining 11 months of the year, it was ranging. So you can just bet your socks that we're still in a ranging market. This is not the time to be aping green candles, as tempting as it is. All right, I'll switch it over.
Yeah, thanks for the analysis. That was definitely helpful. Let me see. We can I'll share my screen now. Let me just do a quick look of some of my charts. Finally found a good indicator that just adds in some of these levels that I like to look at. Okay, let's go. Let's look at some of the alts real quick. I mean, ETH definitely still chopping. This does not, I mean, obviously there's a bit of a move, but that doesn't look particularly strong. I don't really remember what I put. Maybe these were last week's highs and lows, probably. Yeah, nothing really there. So I had drawn this out a while ago. I said I put this in the altcoin chat in the LFJ Discord, basically saying if we saw UST dominance come into the 5.35 level, I had an alert set here. So I said if we came into that level and started to put in a bounce at the same time as coming into this level for Solana, that I would be potentially looking for short. And so now we're here. At this exact moment, I think I'm going to probably still put a little bit of caution out there. I mean, if you wanted to scale in a little bit, you could. These stop losses I drew when I first charted this, so those might get changed a little bit. I don't know if I would go full into a position here at this point, because I still think there's a chance for another spike to the upside. But I do think we're approaching a pretty decent level for entering shorts on something like Solana right now. But because there is that chance for the upside right now, I think you got to be pretty, at least either small with position size or just managing your risk really well. I still think the chop can kind of go take out early shorts potentially before it actually dumps down. But this was
If
a trade.
you're short, where for Solana, where would you put your stop loss?
Right now,
Yeah,
um,
because I was looking at the same short as well, but I had a level marked out around 143.8, and I think it barely touched it, but I wanted to see like price really go past it and then come back down again before entering a short.
yeah, I mean, when I originally drew this out, I think it looks like I put my stop loss at 143.9, so almost the same place. But I drew this like last week. I think I would feel more confident, yeah, if we like maybe came into the previous month's mid at like 146, and then came back down. Yeah, I don't know if I would position super heavily right now. Like if I was to scale in right now, I think I would still keep my stop loss pretty close to where it is now, if not maybe a little tighter. And then just if I get stopped out, try to re-enter. So like if I was to enter now, I would probably go for like 142.3
I put the
or
stop loss
something.
above that last high. So what, 148 or 148.5?
If you're going for a wider stop loss, yeah. But for me to enter one with the stop loss this far, I would probably want to see it move up first and then
Yeah.
catch it on the way back down. So like something like this. This was maybe a bit high, something like that. That would probably be a better short entry for me. I think right here I'm a little unsure about it. So here, let me clean this up a little bit.
I definitely think we're at this point where even if Bitcoin kind of bleeds down a little bit, altcoins can still pump. That's why I'm like, I'd be cautious about shorting altcoins right now, just because a lot of these altcoins have been dumped down like crazy in the past 2 months, and we're so used to like any pullback on Bitcoin, altcoins will pull back twice as much. But I feel like that regime's over for now. And I think there's definitely a lot of shorts to be squeezed on a lot of these altcoins.
Yeah, I think especially with the volume still being as low as it is, like there's not a very big spot bid right now. So it's only going to be, for the most part, like leverage traders that are going to be dictating the market. So there's not a big backstop of spot bids keeping the prices up.
Yeah, I mean the thing that really freaks me out right now is stocks are like so badly down, and somehow Bitcoin is up, and now everyone's talking about inflation hedge, blah blah. Like every time people talk about inflation hedge, it never works out like longer than a few days. That's not me being bearish. That's just like what I've observed.
Yeah, that narrative has never fully worked. I feel like I wouldn't be super confident on that. Let's see what else we got. Does anyone, if anyone in the chat wants to drop any altcoin requests in the comments, we'll we'll take a look at anything. I'm not sure if there's anything of a special interest today, but we can take a quick look. Mondays are also, especially if you're doing short-term trading, Mondays are usually great for letting, the weekly range be set out and then kind of positioning afterwards. So I'm not sure how many like actual trade opportunities there will be right now.
I'd be looking at who could be the next pope.
Honestly, yeah, in the trenches, that might be the thing. I don't know if there's anything of super interest. If not, we can just go ahead and check out the trenches and see what's going on today.
Yeah, if you go to Polymarket, you can actually see like who's most likely to become the next pope.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even know how that works. Like, how does the voting work for that?
I think it's peer to peer. So, well, actually, I don't know it myself, to be honest. But it tends to be pretty accurate. And yeah, I think the two front runners are, the first guy is Pietro's Italian guy. And then the second guy, Luis, is actually a Filipino guy. So if he wins, he could be the first Asian pope.
What?
And
That's great.
yeah. So I just went into the trenches and I typed in Luis Tagle. And there's one that's like, it's crazy. Like some people created these coins like months ago. They must have foresaw this coming.
First Asian Pope, 5 hours.
Well, there's one that's 1 month ago, and it
Yeah.
has the market cap's 123K. If you type in Luis and then the one that's like 1 month old,
Is it this
I've
one?
been yeah, that one. That's the one. I bought this one. Go to the 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart.
When did you
Yeah,
get in?
I mean, I got in like literally at this price point.
I mean, 123K market cap's not bad, honestly. Like, if this is the one, I mean, if he actually does become the Pope, like, I bet this will pump.
Yeah. I think it's worth probably like just putting a little bit of money in the one that you think could be the main one, right? Because there's so many of them. So I
Let's
bought
toss.
one also that's Pietro as well.
All right, I'll toss some Solana in there, and we'll let it cook for. How long does it take for them to pick a Pope? Is that like
It
a
could
quick
take forever.
process?
It's like literally. It's funny. I was watching. Have you seen Conclave, the movie about picking a new pope?
I have never seen it.
Or have you seen like what's that? The Angels and Demons, Da Vinci Code.
Dude, I read those books all the time when I was younger. That series is
Yeah.
great.
Anyways, it could literally take forever. Like they have to find a majority.
Yeah, usually it takes like 2 or 3 weeks, but if they don't find a majority, it can take forever.
One guy in Discord also dropped a ticker for creatine. I bought that last night at 220K, and honestly, it's doing really well right now. It's right
I
now
think it's sitting at 500K now, or maybe a little bit more.
130. Yeah. Yeah, that one, creatine super cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, CT is discovering about creatine now. There's many tools tweeting about creatine powder.
Honestly, I
kinda
think this is the
surprised-
way to play trenches. It's just like you have to really keep up to date with pop culture. What's trending on X, what's trending on TikTok.
It kind of surprises me that creatine hasn't had like a meme coin kind of thing pop off before this. Like, I feel like that is very like trenches coded.
Oh, we lost you, Levi. Your mic isn't working.
Can you hear me?
Fixed.
Okay. Okay, we got someone in the chat dropping some. How about Gun? Is that Gunzilla?
Yeah, your
Avalanche
mic
token?
is fuzzy, by the way.
Is it? Don't really know why. If it's bad, I can let other people talk.
It's okay right now.
All right, just let me know.
Gun looks good.
Is Gunzilla, or is this a different one?
Yeah, Godzilla.
It's Godzilla, yeah.
That market cap's not right. Right? Isn't it like some crazy market cap?
The FDV is wrong. Actually, no, that's wrong. The market cap should be 37 million.
I'm pretty sure there's only like a certain amount of liquidity on C chain, and that's probably why it's.
Yeah, probably. If you go to CoinGecko, it's 37 million market cap, but 620 million FDV.
I had this issue on my laptop last stream as well. For some reason, I like cannot draw on the LFJ site, even though it lets me do it on my normal computer. I mean, with something like this, I mean, obviously not a lot of chart history, but like this was like a clear range low. This was like a relatively clear range high, and now it's broken above that high. So if it can hold this, like, here, let me switch from market cap to price. If it
It
can
just looks
hold,
like a chart where you just buy the dips, to be honest.
yeah. Honestly, if you were range trading this, you could have done very well. Like 20% up, 20% down, 30% up, 20% down, and now 35% up. So I don't know if I would buy this. If you have it, you could maybe sell to try to buy lower. Depends on what,
Yeah, and nobody
what you're
has
doing.
gun token to sell right now, since most of the token are vested for the team and the investors.
What
But
about like
otherwise,
what about players? Do players get
not yet.
tokens, or how does that work?
Not yet. The game is still on testnet, so you can get the token, but I don't think it's the same as the one you have here. It's a different one.
So basically, the only people who have it are people who have bought it on the open market.
Yeah, exactly.
So that, I mean,
Funding is also negative.
that's a pretty good recipe, honestly, for a pump for some sort of squeeze.
In short-term view here,
I find it hard to buy some of these gaming coins to hold for long term, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, gaming.
Just because they have a lot of investors, they also have like these games, especially the more AAA they are, they have a ton of expenses. You know, I think they like spend what 2 million a month on their burn rate. Like they need to sell stuff in order to operate.
Yeah, I do think over the long term it's probably a hard hold, but Ezio, the guy who dropped this in the stream chat, he is basically saying he thinks it has a serious potential for a squeeze, which, based on everything we just talked about, seems pretty accurate. I mean, not a lot of people have the token. If they have it, they had to buy it on the open market, so there's not a lot of sellers right now. And then open interest or funding is negative. So, I mean, if you add all that up, it's actually probably a pretty decent bet right now.
I find it interesting how they had perps from day one. Like usually that's a bad sign because investors who are locked up invested will hedge by shorting the market. And I think that's what happened. Like there was a lot of shorts that are just getting squeezed right now. Usually when shorts get squeezed, after they get squeezed, it tends to come back down again. That's generally how it works. So I'd be worried about like buying too high as well.
I have seen this a lot on like newer launches recently. Like, I don't know if it was the exact same thing. I don't know if they had perps up and running like early on Kaido, but I know pretty soon after Kaido launched, like everyone was shorting it like really intensely, and so like you saw for the first couple days that you were sitting in this like $1.60 range or whatever, and then all of the shorts got squeezed out, 60% move, and then since then it's just been down only. So
Yeah. There's like an art to shorting. Jordy Alexander, who handles game theorizing.
yeah,
He actually has a really good thread about shorting and the art of shorting. And he argues like contrast to like longs, for example, you don't want to be shorting when everyone else is shorting, just because when the short trade becomes too crowded, it becomes liable to getting squeezed very easily. And that's what like market makers will do, especially on these lower cap coins, low liquidity coins where they can manipulate price more easily. Like you will get squeezed, right? So that's why like, I see coins, people always FUD like what move and story, yet actually their price isn't doing as bad as you think it would be doing. And that's because, the more shorts there are, sometimes they get squeezed pretty easily.
yeah, this is pretty interesting thread actually. Shorting is definitely harder.
Yeah,
like
that's the one.
I think I've honestly spent so much time in this market, either in a bear market or like in PTSD from the bear market, that like part of me almost feels more comfortable when prices are going down than up. But at the end of the day, like it's way easier to make money when things are going up. Way easier.
Oh yeah. When the market's bull mode, like you can just close your eyes and just press buy and win.
This is a good thread, but I'm not gonna look through all of it right now. So if anyone wants to go read that, it seems like it's a good one. Yeah. Let's see. All right, so I bought a little bit of the two popes that we were talking about, two potential popes. This we bought. I don't think any of our buys last stream went very well. This one we didn't. I think we only put like $3 into this one, but it was like launching a new shitty AI something, and it just went to zero immediately. So that one's pretty much gone. I'll just clear it out of the wallet. All right, we lost $2 on that one. Dima actually was a pretty good buy. I sold to get some of our money back in profit, and then I left the rest to run, and it did not run. So that was like a 1-day call, which this is kind of what you're expecting in the trenches anyways. I think most of our buys that have done well, we were in and out in a few hours. So like if you got in this first day and got out here, I think Koi called this one to perfection. He was the first one to call it in Discord. He got in at like a little under 200K, and then it went to like almost 2 million, and then he got out. It looks like there was one more pump, but I missed it. So I'm gonna call that one a loss for the rest of our Solana. But it was a good call. We just missed out on the exit. And then I think this was the last one that we just kind of left to see if it was going to cook, which it did not cook. But I do think this one was actually kind of cool. Like the art's cool, but we'll just be a community member of that one. That's fine. There's only $1 left in there anyway, so. Alrighty. I wonder if there are any like clear themes in the trenches this morning.
Potentially, probably not the Solana ones, but Zora. A lot of shit happening around there.
Oh, really? Let's go check it out.
Although it does just seem like most of CT is just annoyed and pissed at Jesse.
That is definitely true. How does this work?
Funny.
Like,
Like, what
is
do you expect him to do? His job is to shill base, right?
I mean, everyone's talking about it,
Yeah.
so he's doing a great job with what he's supposed to
Yeah.
get the eyeballs.
I
do you
used
have like
Zora like 2 years
charts?
ago.
It seems like it's an entirely new thing now. Like it used to be just a place to mint NFTs pretty much, and now it seems like they've rebranded to like a social media site essentially, but every post is automatically turned into, I don't know if it's a ERC20, but basically every post is immediately turned into a coin that can be bought. But I don't know if like there's not like a chart as far as I can see. So it's just like you see a market cap and then you can buy and sell. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm super bullish on this in the long term. I don't know if this will have the same type of escape velocity for stuff.
I like the concept though. I think what separates crypto trading from TradFi trading is the social aspect, right? Like we love to ape together, win together. I think that's also why a lot of the killer apps that we've seen in the past year have been social. Vector, Pump Fund to a certain extent is also social. They have comment section, they have live streams. I think Zora makes sense. Like I definitely think there's something there in terms of social plus crypto trading plus mobile, right? I just don't know how it will manifest. It could be Zora, it could be something else.
Yeah, I agree. I think the problem with Zora in its new form right now though is like I think I saw this in a post on like a thread on X, but basically like with a meme coin, like you have a character and then you like create like memes or lore around whatever that character is basically. But on here it's just like if the idea is to just post like a post and then people buy it, like it doesn't quite like it. I mean, you can kind of see it already. Like everyone is essentially just posting a meme
I
in the
think
same sense.
Avalanche had something like that, right? It was the what was it? It was like that gallery where you post art and then you can like it. It's like
I know what you're
Instagram.
talking about. Yeah,
I
it
forgot the name
was.
again. Nasta, do you know the name?
The name of the what?
Remember that website that Dom was shilling? It was like Instagram. You had artists. You could
Oh,
easily create art. You can follow them. You can like the posts.
01?
Yeah,
Yeah, zero
Something like
one.
that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 01.
yeah. I think it was like, wasn't it free? But like you like posted an NFT to get more tickets or something to buy other NFTs or something. I don't
Yeah.
really
So they have
remember.
wallet abstraction, so
Yeah, it's
you
like
just need an
Tumblr,
email.
right? It's like Tumblr. Like people
Yeah.
actually like to browse Tumblr forever. I think it's interesting because I was reading a thread. I think it was by Charlotte Fang, the creator of Milady, and they talk about post authorship. So Zora's like big selling point is, like a lot of these meme coins, right? They don't actually credit the original creator of the meme itself. Like Pepe coin doesn't credit the creator of Pepe. I think it's the same thing for Wolfie. It's the same thing for Dog with Hat. And Zora is like, well, the author actually owns the meme because they create the meme and they post it, and they are the ones who get the credit and eventually the royalties as well for it, right? And I think Charlotte Fang from Milady actually argued, well, we've already proven that people don't care about this, and Pump Fun has proven that too. And actually, that's also the reason why these meme coins can get so viral. If you had to attribute the original meme to the creator, then he argues you wouldn't get the same virality from it. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I do think it's an interesting point. I really don't know. Like I think the end game, like I think all of the social fi type things that we've seen in crypto have had like very short lifespans. And I do think that at some point something will click where we have one that actually has staying power. I just still don't know
Yeah.
what that's gonna look like at all.
Well, the thing with these social fi things, right, is they're trying to replace something that's very hard to replace, and that's usually a Web2 equivalent like Instagram or Twitter. You know, I think it's really hard to replace Twitter, right? It's like the irony of it all is, you know, you have to go on Twitter to shill your social, and it doesn't really make sense. Also, Twitter is also not becoming a good place for alpha anymore. I do think that people are not looking or innovating hard enough in the, you know, the private group chat areas, things like Discord groups or Telegram groups. I actually had an idea where, you know, these Rick bots, right? They're actually quite valuable, and you can do a lot of things where you have a private Discord, let's say LFJ Discord, and then you create a bot, and people who make good calls get like a commission of your profits, and it creates this feedback loop where, you know, you're incentivized to make good calls, and you share it with your trench warriors, and they also profit, and you profit if they profit, right? And it becomes a positive feedback loop. And to me, that's more of like where the real alpha or the real edge in social trading is, like being actually in the trenches and getting good alpha from your teammates, rather than just kind of buying whatever a KOL shills on, you know, this social play app.
Yeah, and I do think there's a lack of trust when you see people showing stuff on socials because there's no like responsibility. But like when you're in an inner group, like there's more, I don't know, like camaraderie, I guess, where like you're doing it with the person versus
Yeah.
on X.
Well, that's
where it's
kind of the
just,
premise of Vector. I don't know if you guys use Vector Fund, but the idea is like you connect your Twitter, and then if you make they call it a broadcast or a call, like, oh, I'm gonna buy Pope coin, right? And you broadcast it to everyone. And if it does well, like everyone can see it does well. So like there are receipts for your calls, unlike Twitter, where people can shill stuff and not really get the repercussions of making bad calls. What's this? Reverser Sol?
This is just one of the ones towards the top of the screener, like trending right now. Reverse reality rot. Fish, did you ever see the Italian brain rot stuff that we looked at last week?
No?
I think
What's this
it's
about?
still holding quite well. It went down, but still at the same level as last stream.
Oh, Koi just shilled a new ticker, guys. Memes 2.0.
Oh, let me see. One sec, I'm going to grab it.
One of the guys also shilled a new guy in Discord shilled the Jian Kui meme, you know, the Chinese geneticist.
All right, this one's pretty small. Not the best looking chart. Maybe I'll toss something small into it. Although it does look like it's going down, but
So Koi says you should always search on Twitter. Click the magnifying glass. No, the magnifying glass. Not that one. Go back.
oh yeah, do you have? Oh, I see.
It is X, sorry. But what's the difference? X or is
I think X sends to either their actual X account if they have it, or I guess it just searches I think the magnifying glass searches the actual
The contract address.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that doesn't really show much. Oh, sorry. Not really sure. I mean, I wouldn't say this looks.
I mean,
I
the
don't-
chart looks garbage.
I don't know what Koi knows, but this doesn't look amazing. All right, we leave this one.
Bitcoin's dumping finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I keep closing the tab. My bad.
Oh, the 2.0 meme is actually pumping now. It might have some life, guys.
Oh no. We'll go back to it in a second.
All right,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
one
gonna
other
put
one.
0.1. 0.1 sold for me.
Okay, I don't know if I'd call that pumping, but that is not going to zero. I don't know if I got in. I tried to buy it. All right, I'm in at 36K. But anyways, Fish, you got to go look at this Italian brain rot stuff. It's ridiculous.
What do I search? Just Italian brain rot.
Look up Italian brain rot, and then let me see if you search. Yeah, if you click on the website one, it'll take you to the TikTok page for it. I don't think I can play videos with sound, unfortunately. I think I had too many tabs open on my laptop. Is it like
Boneka Ambalabu. Entitas jahat yang banyak meresahkan masyarakat akhir-akhir ini membuat
Can you
para
guys hear
ilmuwan
that or no?
berpikir keras untuk
We need
mencari cara
Davide.
menanganinya. Salah
Translate.
satu
This one
ilmuwan
is not
terkenal
one of the famous ones.
Boneka Ambalabu.
that's not one of the famous ones?
Yeah,
Isn't this one?
this is
Yeah,
Bombardiro
that one's
Crocodilo.
the-
Bombardiro Crocodilo, un fottuto alligatore volante che vola e bombarda i bambini a Gaza e in Palestina. Non
Can you guys hear the audio for it or no?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
I want Davide in here to translate.
Brr, brr, patapim, il mio cappello è pieno di slim. Nel bosco fitto e misterioso viveva un essere assai curioso, con radici intrecciate.
What is that?
I don't know.
Tung 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 tung
This
tung
one's
tung tung
famous. I know this
sahur.
one.
Anomali mengerikan yang hanya keluar pada sahur. Konon katanya kalau ada orang yang dipanggil sahur.
But yeah, I wonder if this is the one that's starting to trend a little bit. I mean, still pretty low, but what is this?
Italian?
This is the reverse reality one. Okay, not bullish. Doesn't have words. Okay, I get what they're going at with that reverse reality. Okay, I get what they're doing, but I don't know if this is gonna be a good one. Okay. All right, 2.0 is doing okay. Where was the? Didn't I have it on? Maybe it was one back. Yeah, here. I don't know. I'm not going to bid this one right now, I think. Pope Dog is pumping. The first dog blessed by the Pope. I've never seen a chart like that. I don't know what that is.
Wow, this is like crime chart.
Yeah, no, for real. I did it again. My bad. I'm just making spam. Give me share screen permissions. All right. I don't know. I don't see any other things that's probably worth aping right now. I think that's probably good for today. To summarize for our actual market analysis and stuff, very choppy market. There's a good chance Bitcoin might come back down from here. You got UST dominance breaking back in. So it's deviated and come back up. Total is looking like it wants to break back down below.
Honestly, it doesn't look good because we've now rejected from 88.5 3 times.
On 15-minute.
Yeah, if you go to 4 hour.
Oh, you mean on? Oh, I see.
Yeah. So like, I would not be surprised if we just rotate to range lows.
Yeah.
Or
You also
even, yeah, I think like 80.5 or 81 is not out of question, guys.
Yeah. Quick
I think
trades
you might
only.
see some bounces, but whether they make a new high, I mean, just judging from how strong that red candle is, I'd be wary about taking a swing long here.
Yeah, that doesn't look great. Alrighty, well, we can call it there for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. We have another one for later this week. I think it'll be Wednesday or Thursday, and we'll post about it. We're gonna be doing these every Monday at the same time, so you can always expect us to have some market analysis and some trench stuff set up for you guys on Mondays. And I think we might try to bring in some new additions to our structure to kind of keep it interesting and engaging. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. So thanks for tuning in, everyone.
All right,
Same,
see you
guys.
guys. Thanks.
Let's fucking Joe.
Let's fucking Joe.